All right, welcome. My name is Matt Pomeroy. I welcome you to a Wisconsin Health and Physical Education uh, live webinar right here, right now. We're really excited to be bringing this to you today. As you can see, I am the WHPE Technology Committee Chair, which is why I'm running this webinar. And I'm also the Southeast District Coordinator. And I'm passionate about professional development, and I'm attempting to bring as much professional development as I can for free, to our members and maybe members of other organizations as well. But so that's kind of the deal with that. But I'm excited to bring you, and I'm getting ready to go back to school. Today was our first day back, and students aren't there yet, but our first day of in-service. So, I'm always excited about thinking about the upcoming school year, but getting down to it right now. And I know Tim, who's hanging out here with me, and Karen, who's hanging out with me, are doing the same thing as well here. So really excited to get you thinking about back to school and getting you started off the school year right. So without further ado, before we bring our presentation up and start sharing that, we just want to say hi and see the faces of our guests today on the show. So Tim, I'll just send it over to you. A real quick intro. Just say hi to everybody out there tuning in.
Okay. Hi, my name is Tim Swenson. I am a senior lecturer at the UW Platteville. My main area is within adapted PE. I've been there this is my 10th year now. Prior to that, I was in the Black River Falls School District, teaching adapted PE, regular PE, and health for about 7 years. I've been involved with WHPE going on probably 11 years now, and am the vice president of the APE division within our association, and just love any chance I can get to connect to any APE teachers or any PE teachers for that matter. So for Matt to invite me onto this webinar. I look forward to chatting.
Thank you for being here with us, Tim, and taking your time and sharing your expertise. So, and Karen, blessed to have Karen here as well. Karen is our National Elementary School Teacher of the Year, which is pretty exciting that she's here sharing some information with us. So welcome, Karen.
Well, thank you for the invitation. And I'm Karen Peterman. I am teaching in Clintonville, Wisconsin. This is my 31st year of teaching. This was my first teaching job coming to Clintonville. I never thought I'd stay here forever, but it's been forever, and I call it home and love it a lot. I am blessed to be able to teach with my best friend and my husband, Bob. And so we get to co-teach together, and love servicing the kids of Clintonville and bringing standards-based instruction to them with a lot of extras that make our program pretty special. So thanks for the invitation. Looking forward to the evening.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right. As we get going here, I'm going to do a quick screen share right now. So it'll take me just a second. And I'm going to pull up our presentation that we're going to go through today. We are right back with you. We should probably start at the beginning. All right, and again, this is our Wisconsin Health and Physical Education Back to School webinar, again, presented by WHPE. You can check it out on our website, whpe.us. Just want to start talking about a few things with WHPE before we get going here. Coming up real soon, which is awesome. I'm really excited for that. So our convention is October 26th and 27th, and that's going to be up in the Wisconsin Dells. And again, check it out on whpe.us. But I'm going to be there, and I'm really excited. Tim and Karen are going to be there as well?
Oh, yes.
Sure hoping so. Absolutely.
All right. All right. Well, fantastic. So Wisconsin Health and Physical Education has been serving health and physical educators for the last 120 years. So this convention is our 120th convention, which is just amazing to me. And I'm so proud to be part of that organization. We are dedicated to the promotion and support of health-enhancing lifestyles. All right. Our mission is to provide members with professional development opportunities and advocates for our profession. All right, and our strategic plan is going to focus on professional development, which is what we're doing today, advocacy, and membership. If you scroll down in the Tazzle, you'll find the WHPE Back to School presentation in there. If you click on the little Facebook icon, all right, it'll take you to our Facebook page. Thumbs up it, like it, follow it, share it to anyone else in Wisconsin. We're going to keep bringing you as many things as we possibly can. So it's nice to see that Andy Milnes joined us today. Thank you, Andy. Very friendly convention, says Andy, and it sure is. Always a good time. I've seen him there a couple of times, and thanks for being there and presenting with us too, Andy. So it's kind of cool. We got the back channel going on in Tazzle. That's what I got distracted by. But lots of good stuff happening. So quick shout out on Saturday, which was really neat. We had a Southeast District sharing workshop. There was only 4 of us, all right, 3 besides me. But we're trying to do some free workshops. And the difference between these workshops is there's just a slight agenda. And this agenda was back to school. And it was cooperative games. It was grading and assessments. It was those types of things. And everyone brings a lesson to share or a couple ideas, a couple of thoughts on things. And free. I'm going to continue doing these every other month, and they'll kind of be opposite of the webinars too. So they're going to be at all different schools around Southeast District. So big plug for that, because we hope to have a gym packed soon enough with health and physical educators. All right, Jump Rope for the Heart, Hoops for Heart, really, really cool program. All right, they are amazing programs that give back to health and physical education across the U.S. They're great for our students, teachers, and programs. WHPE members, this one's for you. If you raise $2,000, it also equals a free WHPE year membership, which is awesome. All right, it's pretty cheap anyways, so take a look at it. All right, it really is very reasonable. But again, that's another cool thing that you can do. One last plug here. You're listening to some free professional development right now. The Phys Ed Summit is something that I put on with a group called Physedagogy. And you can kind of see at the bottom of the screen, if you visit physedagogy.com/Phys Ed Summit, it'll take you there. But it's really cool. It's happening on August 26th. It is free professional development, all right? It starts at 8 a.m. Eastern, and it goes until midnight. There are 31 different presentations, webinars like this that are happening throughout the day from 52 different presenters. And they're from 11 different countries, which is wild. So it's really a worldwide kind of a thing. So currently we've got 1,600, and scratch that, it's up to 50 within the last hour or two. All right. And again, health and physical education professionals that are registered for this event across the world. So it's just a wild thing. Really good health, PE, and I believe there are some adaptive PE sessions as well. All right. I've kind of blabbered on enough. Time to get rolling and time to get down to business. So, Tim, you're up just real quick. One more time, quick hello, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. My name is Tim Swenson. I teach at UW Platteville, and my main area is in adapted PE. I also serve as the vice president for the APE division within WHPE. So I'm glad to be part of the group.
All right, thank you, Tim. And Karen.
Yep, I'm Karen Peterman from Clintonville, Wisconsin, and I've already told you that I'm in my 31st year of teaching here. I've spent some time in the high school, some in the middle school, and some, actually most of it in the elementary school. And I'd have to say elementary is my favorite. So there's a picture up of me in my kayak, and I spent some of my summer kind of getting rejuvenated and getting all fired up to come back to school. I saw a few parents in the grocery store the other day, and I know the parents are all ready to send the kids back. So we all better get ready too, because they're all ready and on their way.
They're ready to go for sure. You got that right. So, all right. Well, we're going to kind of jump right into this. So there are questions I'm going to pose, and then our panelists are just going to answer those questions and share some of those things. We do ask, though, if you're watching along live, which of course we really hope that you are, that there's a back channel. Again, there's a conversation happening kind of on the left side of the screen, and it's in the Tazzle. Feel free, if you've got a follow-up question for one of our guests, feel free to type it in there. Feel free to comment on what you're doing as well, so I can read those. Everyone else can kind of read those, and you guys can generate a discussion. So the questions are for the panelists, but they're also for people that are in the Tazzle. So we really want to make it an active learning experience for both people. So Question one, boy, it was a busy summer. Many different things going on my side. But what have you guys done over the summer? Just to get ready for school, maybe rest and relax as well, because that's a part of getting ready for school. What are some of the things you guys have done?
Well, one thing that I routinely like to do during the summer is I find a couple good books just for inspiration, something to get me thinking. Some of them deal with physical education. Some of them are just more on leadership training. Some of them are just fun reading. I've recently got into reading books from Malcolm Gladwell. One of my more recent ones is David and Goliath. Really cool book about how a person can take perceived disadvantages and actually turn them into advantages. And he makes a couple references to sports and activities within his books too. So I find there's some relevancy to it. So I do that. Recently, something pretty neat that's happening within our state right now, as far as disability sport is concerned, is there's the Dairyland Games. These took place in Middleton, Wisconsin, in early May, and they're looking to grow within the state. I've actually got a representative from the Dairyland Games coming to talk at the WHPE convention, as well as the Wisconsin Adapted Sports Association. So I helped out, volunteered within the swimming portion of the Dairyland Games. I actually took a couple of my daughters down, had them help out too. And I felt those were some really good experiences to help share and get the students that I'm going to be working with, our future teachers, to get their future students involved with these type of activities, if they happen to have a disability or working in adapted PE or disability sports. So, and along with that, I've got 4 young kids, ages 9, 7, 5, and 3. So I do a lot of coaching. Dad is coach for softball and for soccer, for tennis. So I stay pretty active with all their activities. So that's what I've been doing to get ready for the upcoming school year.
Nice balance of stuff. Again, from the chat, from the Tazzle, Andy Milne says, "Hey, Malcolm Gladwell's podcast is great too." So
Yes.
I haven't listened to that. Have you?
I've only caught it once, but
Okay.
he is such an interesting guy. He is, yeah, he's awesome.
All right. Well, very nice. Thank you for sharing, Tim. And Karen, you're up.
I was just going to say, Tim sounds like a busy dad. That's quite
Sure.
quite the close range of children there, but great. That's awesome.
Yeah.
As far as I go, I had kind of a busy summer this summer as part of being the National Teacher of the Year. We were invited to a retreat in Washington, D.C., and also to present at James Madison University in Virginia. And that was just a treat to rub shoulders with other people that are so passionate about teaching physical education. I can't say enough about the state of Wisconsin and what we offer, and the people that are always so willing to share the best of their best with everybody. And it's interesting because it's pretty much the same I have found across, meeting people across the United States, that we as educators are always willing to share the best of what we have. And I just think that's just a great tribute to our profession. After being at JMU, I got to go to San Diego for the Spark Institute. I attended the 3 to 6 Institute, and I met a lot of really neat people from California and around, also around the United States, mostly in the western part of the state, but just a great experience to see what other people are doing in another part of the United States, but just as equally passionate and excited about teaching. My husband Bob and I also attended the best practices in UW Stevens Point. Amazing couple days of professional development, and we had a lot of fun along the way. We had a cookout. You can see the picture, and just being silly, but it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. Totally enjoyed the summer. I also get rejuvenated with family. I have a picture of my family up there. We had a crazy summer, actually. We had a high school graduation, a college graduation, and we have one of our kids that just moved to Michigan, and another one is getting married this weekend, another one moving to college. So I feel like I'm just busy juggling everything, and I'm just trying to savor every moment because our daughter gets married this Saturday, and then Sunday we take our son to college, and then and then school starts on Tuesday. So I'm thinking, Tim, enjoy those all the time when the kids are little, because it all happens really, really fast. So
I will.
yeah, that sounds good.
And that's why we really appreciate you taking your time to be here as well. So building this, making this, and being here with us. So definitely a busy summer. Boy, best practices. I still haven't had a chance to attend. I know it's strongly supported by WHPE, of course. But I've just heard amazing things about it. So
definitely, I'd recommend it to anybody.
Third week of July, right?
Yes.
Right around there, third week of July. To me, I was at the P Institute this year, and it seems to have that same kind of environment, that same kind of feel. It's laid back because it's summer, but so many great presenters and so many great things to do there and learn from. So got to be there. Yeah, Will seconds that. Best practices is a great time.
I saw Will there.
Nice. And it sounds like you spent some time with Andy as well, right, Karen?
We always have a good time for sure.
Nice. All right, moving on. A little more in depth now. Get you thinking just a little bit more here. But when and how do you set up like scope and sequence for your program for the upcoming school year? Talk us through it just a little bit, just about that process and how you make things happen, and maybe some of the things that are involved. Anything that you're up for talking about. We'll start with Tim from the adaptive physical education side.
Sure. So I guess I'll look at it through the process of when I teach our students at Platteville, when they're going to be working with students with disabilities. The best process of developing, analyzing what your scope and sequence is going to be. The first thing that we need to look at is what is going to be the least restrictive environment for them. Where is their LRE? And that may dictate, as well as their level of ability, what skills are going to be appropriate for them. Will they be in the classroom co-teaching with another teacher? Will they be in a one-on-one setting? And based on where the environment's going to be and the level of the student, then you can develop a sequence of what skills, what activities, what sports. The IEP is going to be a big indicator of that as well, dictating what are the specific skills that the student should be working on as far as yearly progress is made. So utilizing the IEP, utilizing results of prior assessments, looking at where you want them to be within the next year, and then where is the service going to be delivered? What's the classroom setting going to be? And that can really help you structure a really solid sequence to the curriculum that you're going to be teaching for the upcoming year.
All right, great thoughts. Anything you'd like, Karen, what would you like to add to that?
I was just thinking about when we set ours up, our process is actually pretty easy. When we work on presenting our curriculum to our kids, we hold real tight to the learner outcomes that we have for our state standards and try to make sure that we cover everything for all the learner outcomes for each grade level. But we at the end of the year, we'll take a look at things that we did and things that we missed or we needed to spend more time on, and then we'll come back to that at the beginning of the school year and kind of see like what were we missing or what were the kids weaker at. And typically last year we found that we really needed to refocus again on like the whole sportsmanship and cooperation component, because our kids just don't have that. And so we know that everything that we do, we're going to put a little extra focus on that portion of it. We also we'll look to see if our kids were really solid on all the skills. Were they solid on the learner outcomes for their manipulatives, for locomotors? And maybe we have to come back to some of those as well. Fitness, the knowledge component, and again, our sportsmanship, cooperation, we know that we need to really spend time on this this coming year. We'll make modifications and adjustments. I know at the end of our school year last year, we were invited by Theta Care, it's a medical network, to do a wellness plunge in our school. So they offered to bring the Good to Go program to our school. And every day, volunteers from the medical community came in and spent time in our Phi-Ed classes, and we had a Thursday night family night that included a walk and planting carrots and a health assessment, all kinds of things. And losing that week of physical education, doing what we normally would do, resulted in loss of time for what we typically would have done in that part of our curriculum at the end of the year. But we always are analyzing, reflecting, seeing what we need to do better, seeing what we need to do differently. The other thing I'd add is that traditionally, years ago, much of our curriculum was like sport orientated. Like in the fall, we would focus on skills related to volleyball or skills related to like football kind of things. And we still do that, but we're taking just a little different look at it, making sure that we're aligning everything that we do to learner outcomes in the state standards. So that's what we do in Clintonville. And I'm not sure, I'd be interested to hear what other people do in other schools.
Yeah, it's always just great to hear about and listen to. And yeah, with us, it kind of depends on, well, there are 3 teachers and there's only so much space at some points in time during the day. So, you know, a lot of it revolves around, are we going to be outside? Are we going to be inside? You know, what other locations do we have? So we kind of look at those things too. But yeah, definitely looking at the learner outcomes and both national standards, what I use, and the grade level outcomes that go with that. Definitely play a big role in it. And you know, like traditional and non-traditional as well. But yeah, lots of great thoughts. So, Tim, there is a question for you just from Jackie. So again, interactive kind of stuff here. So we'll bring it over. So Tim, what tool do you use to qualify kids for adaptive PE?
As far as I assume like a standardized assessment tool, I guess is I assume where Jackie's asking.
That would be my thought. Yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. I guess that would all depend on the area that needs to be assessed. I know the TGMD2 is a very quick and easy, reliable test used for elementary age students. We we've looked at the Peabody for young motor development as well. Sometimes if you don't have access or you don't have the money to buy some of these standardized tests, we tell students to take a look at the C-tape, which is a competency-based test. That's a free online test, relatively easy to follow, and it integrates a lot of what is probably in an existing curriculum as well as far as skills. Otherwise, just taking a look at your own curriculum, what are the skills that you want your students to learn through your own curriculum, and just assessing them on your own, I guess, assessment. But I know sometimes school districts need some kind of year behind their peers type of age equivalency type scores. So usually if it's the elementary, the TGMD2, again, has been one that most of our students prefer to use. And there has been an updated version of that, although the normative data has not been quite set yet, but there is a TGMD3 in the works right now as well.
Fantastic. Thank you. I think that was exactly what she was looking for. So you ask it, you get it right here. WHPE webinar. All right. Moving on to question number 3. So thank you for your thoughts on number 2. What are you planning in your curriculum that WHPE members should know, should just really know about? So anything cool, anything new, anything different? Yeah, what's happening? Looks like Karen's up first.
Okay, I'll go first. What we do is we make sure that we add a lot of extras that bring our community together and get our kids excited about what we do. We spend a lot of time focusing on nutrition, the effects it has on academic performance. So I have 6 kind of things that I came up with that are go-to items every year for us. And one of them is our heart education program, and we culminate that whole activity with our Jump Rope for Heart event. We always make sure we pencil that in at the beginning of the school year. Actually, we have a 3-week diabetes education program. Our son was actually diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when he was in 5th grade. So that's our passion for educating people around us and for teaching kids the importance of taking care of themselves, primarily for type 2. When we talk about the fact that 1 out of 3 kids born in and since the year 2000 are projected to develop type 2 diabetes in their lifetime, we tell our kids that those are the statistics, but we don't want our kids to be part of those statistics. So what are we going to do? What are they going to do to make good, healthy lifestyle choices to keep themselves away from that? So we have our fall education program on diabetes, and then we have an all-school wellness walk, which is kind of a big deal, and the kids love that. Another thing we do is we have monthly incentive calendars that we send home to all of our students, K through 4. And one side is on nutrition, and the other side focuses on being active 60 minutes a day, the whole Fuel Up to Play 60 idea. And then we get local support from our businesses, and they provide the prizes for the kids. They all get a certificate, and we'll have the bowling alley or the rec center or Subway. They're pretty great about volunteering to bring the prizes to our kids. So those are good. Tasty Tuesday is another big deal at our school. One Tuesday each month. Our wellness committee and our youth leadership council, they come up with what we're going to provide to the whole school, and the kids have an opportunity, hopefully, to try something they've never had before or something somewhat unique. We've had anything from kale or sweet potatoes, hummus, wheat thin crackers, all different things that are kind of new to the kids. And then we provide a lesson to the classroom teacher, so it's not just snacking and eating, it's learning about how to prepare, what the nutrient value is, and where they can get them at within our town. Another thing we have that we're pretty proud of is we started a running club 7 years ago, and we train 2 days a week before school, Monday and Wednesday morning from 6:30 till 7:30, and then we train for 5K events throughout the state. And then in June we have our 10K run that we do. That's a Bellin 10K, and we kids that really didn't think that they could run or were good runners at the beginning of the year are all of a sudden blossoming and just have great level of confidence. So those are the extras that we add to our school and our day to make it exciting. And every kid seems to find a niche in our program. So we want them to get hooked on wellness and taking responsibility for their choices. So that's what we do.
Those are some pretty fantastic extras. Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right, Tim.
Yeah, we as far as what we do, we try to offer a lot of our teacher education students a wide variety of experiences directly in front of students. So when they actually get in their own classroom, they before they start student teaching, they're real comfortable. They had a lot of hours. So some of the things we do at UW-Platteville that we were pretty proud of are we do a series of wellness days where we bring schools onto campus, and then it's just a whole day of activities taught by our teacher educators. And this is one day it may just be elementary, one day it may be middle school students, one day it might be high school. So our students get a wide variety of teaching experiences. We run an adapted aquatics program. That's something I'm in charge of, where we have 10 area schools that bring their students with disabilities onto campus. And for a semester, we teach them swimming skills. They sort of get the process of identifying doing an assessment, identifying some skills that need to be worked on, and then they work on those skills throughout the semester. And we have a really positive response from parents, from teachers about the improvement, about the effect physically, emotionally that the students receive from that program. So we really like that one. We have a homeschool PE program for Southwest Wisconsin, where there's about 30 families involved that homeschool their children, that they come on to campus, and our teacher educators get to teach them. They not only do physical education, but they do health education with them, standards-based teaching. So our students get a chance to practice their standards-based teaching skills and assessment skills. We do a lot of service learning where our students actually go out to the area schools as far as their field placements, but just other activities, whether it's working with Special Olympics, we're volunteering at different other programs around the Southwest Wisconsin that are always part of important parts of our curriculum. And then lastly, we've been doing a little bit more undergraduate research with our students as far as taking a look, having them understand the effects of the activity and readiness to learn for students. Some of our exercise science students have been doing some research on concussions, but some of our teacher education students actually will do some before and after type assessments when it comes to readiness to learn and the effect of activity. So they can understand the importance how activity plays a big role in getting the mind and the body ready to learn throughout the day. So we do a lot. Hopefully we get we feel we get our students pretty well prepared when it's time to get into their own classroom. So
that is outstanding. Yeah, it is outstanding. It seems like they are out and about and, you know, in contact with students quite a bit. So very cool. Thank you for sharing.
Yes, they are. Yep.
And interesting connection here, Karen. Will Westfall said his wife was once a part of your running club. So
she was. I know. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Yeah,
we were so sad when she left our school, but she started a running club at her school now, and we're thinking it would be pretty cool if our running clubs joined together for a run, and we became like sister running clubs and try to spread that enthusiasm.
There we go, like some pen pals and stuff like that.
Yeah, see
I do know Jonathan Jones teaches down in Maryland, and I know him, and Matt Guth, I believe, is another educator in the Southwest District. I think him and Jonathan are actually pen pals with their students. It's pretty neat. So it would be something cool to set up.
That's a great idea.
And Jackie's got a run club out there too, Jackie Clark. So again, thank you for sharing those thoughts in the Tassel as well. It's pretty neat, kind of seeing things coming back and forth. But all right, continuing to roll on here. Question, Will's working on it. Don't worry, Karen.
That sounds great. Thanks, Will.
All right, so question 4. What is your plan to get organized and ready for day number 1 with your students? And I know that's going through my thoughts a lot here recently. So Karen, looks like you're up first.
Okay, that sounds good. Actually, I'm going to make it through our daughter's wedding and getting our son to college. And then I'm thinking, then I'll be really ready for school. But so far, I've been working on, we always send home a letter with our kids the first day. And it's like everything to expect. It's like a newsletter. We send a newsletter home every month, but the first one has, you know, make sure you have your tennis shoes and when they have physical education class and everything about the calendar and our upcoming blocks and all that kind of stuff. So we have a letter ready for the kids, and we're actually pretty fortunate. We have 7 bulletin boards around the outside hallways, around the outside of our gyms. So we decorate those up and highlight things that we're working on, and also we try to tie a lot of what we do to like the classroom content. So we'll have skip counting numbers up there. We'll have catchy little things like 7 days without physical education makes 1 week, and then we'll have a bunch of stuff about homophones and try to make some ties like that, because if kids can learn it in other places and in gym class, we think that's a pretty good thing. So then we need to get our PE SMART rules and expectations posted, lesson plans done, and our nutrition and fitness calendars ready for the kids, and then I think I'll be pretty good and ready to go.
All right, so tell me, is it a letter that gets sent home through the mail? And then the second thing is, how do you get out your like nutrition and fitness calendars?
We hand them out in class each day, and actually the letters are the same. We're toying with the idea of now where a lot of our families, you know, are on the computers, that we could do an electronic one, but we still do send home a paper one. And the same thing with our nutrition calendars, fitness calendars. Those go home with the kids after class. First day of the month.
Okay. Yep. Fantastic. Yeah, and it seems like you would lose more letters in the mail, but it seems that sometimes we lose more letters in the email. to be honest. And so
Right.
sometimes getting that letter at home or even just being sent home, definitely a great thing to do. So cool.
Yeah.
Right, Tim?
Yeah. My approach is a little different just based on the students that I'm working with, but I always do like to send out a greening email to the students, especially the ones getting ready and in their pre-student teaching classes. They're one step away from their capstone of student teaching. So a motivational email gearing up for a couple more semesters. Yeah, just like you mentioned earlier, today was our first day on contract. I'd been in a couple days already, but we're working on getting our syllabi and all of our assessments all set up. Um, Different rules and expectations, whether we're in the classroom or if we're down in the gymnasium working on methods. Um, a lot of what I do though too is I'm connecting with the local schools to set up all of our different um, field placement, service learning experiences, the wellness days, a lot of the things that I talked about in the last slide. That takes a lot of connection, a lot of setting up an organization. So um, some of that happens throughout the summer. Some of it is just revisited now because we've done them so many times, but it's just making sure that um, I'm on the same page with all the other teachers that I work with to provide the best experiences for their students and for my students. So it's a lot of just reconnecting over the summer, making sure that we're all on the same schedule. So.
All right. So Tim, let's put on a different hat. You're back
Okay.
in your, adapted PE teacher, days, or, you're
Mm-hmm.
talking to your students who are starting or who are now out in the field and are working. What are they doing on the first day, on the first time maybe they see their students and things like that?
Yeah, I I think about this a lot, and actually, my wife is a special education teacher, so we have a lot of good conversations, especially when it comes to back to school
Yeah.
um, and setting up your schedule is really, really important because you want to try to get it as close as possible from the beginning of the year. So it takes a lot of collaboration with the regular ed teachers, any other service personnel like physical therapy, occupational therapy, anybody else that your students might be working with. So hammering out that schedule. I know when I was teaching, I was an itinerant teacher, so I worked within 5 different schools. Um, so trying to figure out what was going to be the best travel route, make the most bang for my buck when it came to spending time at one school before going on to another. Um, Setting up my equipment. I had an equipment system using milk crates and, which crates were my Monday crates, my Tuesday crates. So I
Wow.
could, because I had to travel with a lot
Yeah.
of equipment. So those were really the first week back was the schedule, the organization that was going to go into the full year coming on, and then reviewing the IEPs of the students and making sure that I'm working towards the goals that I should be when it comes uh, to them and giving them the best education possible.
Great thoughts. I'm going to jump it back to Karen's slide real quick.
Sure.
Karen, there's a question about your nutrition calendars and fitness calendars.
Yep.
Any incentives when they're coming back? What happens when they do turn them back in? Those kind of things.
What happens when they turn them in? Yep. What we do is, do they want to know what we do for the challenge? Is that what they asked?
No, more for if they turn them back, is there an incentive? Is there a little a raffle?
Yep.
Is anything happening, or do they just
Sure.
turn them back in and they're pumped?
I wish they would all just be intrinsically motivated,
Right,
but,
right.
but what we do is all the kids that turn them in, we every student gets a certificate that we sign, and then we have the support of our local businesses. And 1 month it might be Subway coupons for a 6-inch sub. Another month it'll be the bowling alley will take a month, and they'll give the kids free coupons for 2 games of bowling. The family video will give us a free movie rental. So those are the kind of incentives that we have. We try to make them healthy as best we can, but the kids really enjoy working for something as small as that. So that's what we do for ours. And then the kids never know what the next incentive is going to be. And we make a big deal about shaking their hands and giving them their certificate. And making a point to the other kids that these kids are making good choices about health and nutrition, and there's going to be benefits down the road for them.
It's neat though, just the certificate signed and the handshake. I think that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even more than those incentives. You know, I mean, that's great relationship building right there. So very neat. Okay, we're going to kind of get into question 5, and I think that'll just about wrap it up for us tonight. But hope you're getting yourself ready for back to school here. But what kind of policies, procedures, and other classroom management techniques, you know, just will you use in your classes? What are your go-to kind of things, you know, just to help that classroom management and things like that? So let's see. It's Karen again.
How about go to Tim quick? I'm having a little cough here.
Okay,
thank you.
I will jump to Tim.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so you can see in the presentation here, right? A quote that I always like to tell to our students is the only disability in life is a bad attitude. So, and I like to relate this to, you know, I guess when classroom management comes, is your attitude is infectious, whether it's good or bad. So, every day you walk into that classroom, you got to come with a good attitude. You got to come with a good plan. And even if it's if you're teaching elementary and it's the 7th time you've taught that lesson within the last 2 days, it's the first time that a student in your class is getting that lesson. You got to approach it like that every time. So you got to have a good attitude. When it comes to actual policies, procedures, I tell our students, you know, when it's really important when working with students with disabilities that you have a set routine. Whether it's working one-on-one or when you're in your whole classroom, make the routine as predictable as possible for students with disabilities. And I guess it all will relate to the type and severity of the disability as well. But if you have a routine and if you're consistent with it, then that can go a long way as far as effective instruction is concerned. Setting your routine is important, and then being consistent with it throughout the year. So, and then I'm really interested to hear what Karen has to say, because I really love her PE SMART goals and what she's posted here. So,
all right, but you can't get away. Will's got a question for you real quick. He said one of your students talked to me about their LASER acronym for the homeschool students.
Yeah,
Is that something you made for them, or was that their own, or you just want to talk about that just so everyone understands, so we don't we don't have a secret conversation between you and Will?
So that was part of our homeschool PE program, and that was really neat because our students run that program, and it's a good way for them to develop classroom management skills. And one way that we said when it comes to classroom rules is to make it real understandable or easy for the students to remember is make it into an acronym. So I said, hey, let's keep it, 3 to 5 rules, nothing that's going to be overwhelming because we're dealing with mainly elementary students, but let's make an acronym out of what we want. So we started listing rules and expectations on the board, and then we took them and organized them into an acronym and end up being LASER. And you're sort of putting me on the spot as to what LASER stands for, but L was listening at all times. A was always a good sport. The S and the E and the R was respect. But it was all the classroom rules. So when when our students were teaching, they could always reiterate the rules of LASER when it came to the classroom rules. And it was really effective and something that the students that they were teaching could easily remember as well. So using the KISS method, keep it simple. So
it kind of reminds me of something Andy Milne and Andy Horn do, and I know it's kind of spread throughout the country too, but they use the acronym ROPES. So you can kind of put a picture of a rope up on the wall, but they have their students come up with what are the R words, what are the O words, and then kind of look at it, as a whole in general, like what the school kind of thought, and kind of can pick them too, which is kind of cool. But I love the idea. Yep, keep it simple. Something that everyone can remember. And I heard another health educator talking about it too. It's like, you never have to yell at someone. It's like all you got to say is pull the rope, and it just reminds them quickly, like, all right, which one of these rules are you not following? So kind of a cool way to kind of look at that too. But
Definitely.
thanks. So let's talk PE smart, huh, Karen?
Yeah, I like those ideas of the ropes and the laser. I never would have thought of that. So thanks for the ideas. What we do is we have something that we use called PE Smart. And first of all, everything that we do is based on everybody being safe, respectful, and responsible. It's our common language that we use for PBIS, so it works well that we follow through with the same thing. But then we say to the kids, what does safe and respectful and responsible look like in physical education? So we talk about being PE smart. And so you can see that I have several things up there, and I can probably read through them a little better. They're maybe hard to see, but we practice those probably the first 2 to 3 weeks and spend a ton of time on making sure that we have practiced all those procedural kind of things. And it might seem monotonous, especially like Tim talking, you're on your 7th, 8th, or 9th class of the day, but you have to be just as excited every time that next group comes in, and to be just as strict and precise in your expectations so that kids will, react, nearly instantly if, for the expectation that's happening. So we practice them a whole lot, and along the way, we spend a lot of time on our team building. We tell the kids that we're going to be more than a class, we're going to be more like a family. And kids, all of a sudden, when they figure out that they're going to be a family, they recognize the need to help each other, to encourage each other, and to everybody encourages instead of doing put downs. And so it just creates this really neat atmosphere of kids working together and developing that really important sense of team. So I have, I can kind of go through them. I actually pulled my chart out in front of me. One of them is on the whistle, what you should do on the whistle. And so we practice, I'll toot the whistle, and then the kids will all practice doing this. And it's stop what you're doing, look at your teacher, listen closely, put your hands on your knees. If you're holding heavy equipment, set it on the ground. We do 4 different fruits, and we have grapes. When I say the word grapes, the kids have 5 seconds to come close to me and be ready to listen. And we have bananas, and we talk about the grapes being like a cluster. If you ever gone to a grocery store and you get grapes, you hang on to the stem and get a whole bunch. And so we practice. I'll probably spend half of the class running to different spots in the gym and saying grapes, and they all come. We run fast, and then we go to a jog, and then we slow down to a walk, and we carefully sit down watching out for our friends. And we never make grape juice by bumping into each other. And just practicing that silliness gets kids to my spots where I want them to be very, very efficiently, and it's time added for my instruction. Another one we do is bananas. And we talk about a banana split, like splitting apart. It's finding your own personal space. So if your feet are cemented to the ground and you move your arms, you're in your own space. So we practice bananas. We practice oranges, and that is that the kids go to their squad spot. Everybody has an assigned squad spot just for roll call and kind of safety purposes, knowing where everybody is right away. We do oranges, and the last one we do is lemons. And lemon is lining up. And it's like a lemon line, kind of silly like that. But we use those for kids to line up very quickly. If we have a tornado or if there's an intruder in the building, the kids can very quickly get to where we all need to get to quickly. So we'll spend a lot of time practicing those, and the kids think it's really fun. I don't know that it's really, really fun, but it's effective in teaching the kids the expectations. Another one is when the teacher's teaching, our classmates are answering questions and what they're expected to do. I have a chart on leaving the gym. Day 1, the girls go first. Day 2, the boys go first. And then if there's an alternate day, the 3rd day, that we do a math pattern. The little kids are learning AABB patterns or AAB patterns. So we do something with math on that 3rd day. We have a bathroom chart. We have a student disagreement chart, talking it out using kind words. Another one is use I statements, and then they can resolve things by going rock, paper, scissors. We'll spend a whole day doing rock, paper, scissors activities so that kids can resolve issues quickly. Like if Matt and Tim both wanted the red ball, they could just do a little rock, paper, scissors and resolve their disagreement quite easily. So I have another one on what we do when we go outside to the field. We have to cross our teacher's parking lot. So we always say we have to stick together. Everybody jogs down and we have no gaps because the teachers always are trying to, get to their spots really quick. So we have to watch out for that. But all those are up on the chart. So if there's any questions, the kids, we can walk on over and we can look at it together, practice our reading skills, and Time spent on these PE smart things that are all related to safe, respectful, and responsible. Take a time at the beginning, but it's time well spent because we can maximize our minutes with the kids during their individual Phi Ed classes. So that's what PE Smart is.
Got it. Love those ideas.
No,
Very
thanks.
cool.
Yeah, and very visual, of course. So, I mean, it's something you could sit back down in front of and, address again and, make sure everyone understands what's supposed to happen. But, I love how you teach them as you're involved in activities and that type of stuff too. So clearly get them going.
Yep.
I wanted to jump back because I missed something in the Tassel, and we had discussed pen pals at one point in time between running clubs, and I guess Jackie Clark has done that, which was pretty neat. So she said pen pal groups are powerful. I did one with Brendan Erdman from Reedsburg years ago, and then Target has a field trip grant to get you the funds to provide transportation, and they actually ended up connecting. So they had a fun, active day at the end of the school year to meet their pen pals. So pen pals can happen. Maybe we'll get some people out there connected. Kind of neat. And then Target's got that grant. So very neat stuff. Yeah, I'm just going to do a stop screen share real quick and back here together shortly. Questions one more time. I think we've kind of caught up on everything. We are going to be hosting another webinar soon. No official date set yet. We did talk about the Wisconsin Health and Physical Education Convention is coming up on October 26th and 27th, and we'd really like to preview the convention. So that's what our next webinar will be on, and we're going to expand some to health and maybe some specific to adaptive PE and maybe some assessments and things like that. So we've got a lot of exciting things planned for Wisconsin and for WHPE and physical educators out there. So any final thoughts for heading back to school, kids?
I think just being here, talking with people and hearing familiar names has just got me a little excited for the school year to start. So I say thanks for hosting this, Matt. This was really great.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, yeah. This is helping get the juices flowing and just looking at all the ideas and the ability to collaborate just through a webinar like this and hear what other people are saying too is helping get me ready too. So yes, thanks again, Matt, for the invite. This has been great.
Well, thank you. And I'm so I'm like, I want to learn and I'd like to get fired up and get ready for back to school, and it's kind of neat that you can just set it up and organize it and get things ready to go. So again, thank you for taking your time, and we appreciate it for you sharing the things that you shared today. Best of luck as you go back to school. I know it's going to be a great year. So thank you very much. And with that being said, I am Matt Pomeroy, and we are signing off for our WHPE webinar. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.